Okay, to set up the title block fields, we'll make a few changes. Decided that, and notice I can't select anything because I am at the top level. I need to edit the sheet format. Now these will highlight. And I decided that I was going to add the part name. And if you wanted these in all caps, there is a all uppercase. And this will overwrite the draw a little bit, so we're going to have to go back in and select and move that over. If I check the justification, it is currently at the center justification, so we want to set that to left so it will grow in that direction. For that matter, should check these as well. Now when it's center, it could be okay, and the finish should be okay, if it needs to take up a little bit more room. So we'll also need a place to hold these. So I'm just going to grab, that was the space bar. Let's see if I got it. There we go. And so to differentiate this as a field, I'm going to do lowercase. Oh, actually I needed to do that for the bottom too. Drawn by, and no enter. Alright, so let's go scroll down and make sure that word wrap is turned off, so it will extend the field rather than trying to wrap and overwrite the other items. And then a drawn date. So Control C, Control V. Okay, so if those are my two title block fields, then I don't think there's anything notes-wise. We'll do the rev out of the part, and the part name we'll put in there. So title block fields, where do I want to be able to access those? For now, I can always stretch this out later. For now, it's just going to be in this general area, and going to limit what it can select. So this will be the drawn by for the tooltip, and the date fields probably put it in the format that we would like to see it in. So whether it's dashes or slashes. Okay, so that gives us the tooltips, and then we'll go ahead and accept, except I can't spell name. So little things along the way that are going to have to be checked and rechecked. All right, so that becomes the sheet format. So let's go in, and I'll just create a if we were doing this in order, we would go back to our part default. Part inch is what we're using most commonly. And we could save this under the file properties back to the template, but I want to point you towards the custom properties. So at this point, all we really need is a part with some generic information in it to be able to start with, and then under our custom properties, we'll create this list, and it'll have a little bit more functionality. All right, so let's go ahead and, just so we know what we're dealing with, we'll do the standard create a block. And we can extrude it some distance, looks good. And I need to save this to as my default. Properties, so that I have a reference to work from. All right, so some things that we had in our list were the part name, but that's going to pull this information from the actual part. So if I wanted to do revision, we'd also have to decide, are we going to deal with these as configuration specific? Since I like configurations, I want to use configurations where possible, but they really maybe represent 5, at most 10% of the parts that I do. I still have to take them into consideration. So custom could be the modeled by. So we'll see what we have in the list here. If we have a generic part number for all of the configurations, the drawn by, and the date. I was thinking more of a modeled by and because you could have somebody model and then would have somebody do the drafting detailing, which would be the drawing drawn by versus the modeled by. So got to think about these things now. And configuration wise, so we're going to go with the modeled by as a, and if I was building this into my list, I might have a list of a couple people. Everything else, I could see putting in, and there's advantages and disadvantages of putting it into configuration specific. But since they can have separate part numbers, this will be my default 001. Most of the time I don't do over 999 parts, so I think I'm safe with 3 decimals. Don't really need a number. Revision can be A. Material is going to be linked to the material from the list over here on the left. If we put in a finish, most of the time I'm going to default to raw, and so basically whatever is available. Do not have a stock size per se. That one's pretty handy. The mass property, where did it go? Oh, the weight. Oh, duplicate, no. So the weight, and the weight can go to the mass. And because all of these can be different for each of the configurations, then that gives us something to work with. All right, so we're going to now insert a part, and I can do that from the view palette. Look for the part that's open. I just really need one view. To get it started, it automatically goes into the projected view, so if I just hit the check mark, that clears that out. We have the part name default properties. And let's see, I need to edit the sheet format. And then we're going to put in, I'll just put in a fresh notation and place it. And then this is going to be a linked. So we're going to go back to the file properties. This is going to be the model found here. And then the property name is either going to, well, there's the part number. Okay, so that gets me started with that one, and I didn't leave room for it, so we're going to have to account for that. Oh, got the leader on that one. Let's go back into the note, and we need to find a file property. So, model found here, selected component or other drawing view. Okay, so drawing view in the sheet properties, and then let's go to file properties. And then there's the list going that way. So SolidWorks file name. And so we have not saved this just yet. So it's picking up those names as we go. All right, so that one, let it catch up, escape, so I'm out of the notation. Maybe we'll line those up a little bit closer. And the drawn date's pretty much going to be set. The drawn by and the drawn date. And I don't want to mess with those too much because they already have the title block field associated to them. So a part number. Can escape. We'll set that one in place. All right, so still rough positioning going through the process. I can delete the drawing view now because it pretty much served. Oh, I didn't. Let's Control Z that real quick. I set a rev, but then I didn't place the revision control. So somewhere in here, edit the sheet format again. There's a box. So that already has its notation. And so model found here, drawing view specified, property name will be the revision, and OK. So A size sheet, we'll accept. And the different fonts or the bold and whatever gives it a little separation. So we'd want to sort of analyze that as we go. So if the material, the raw, let's see if we do a Control B to rebuild, those go away, which is kind of what I expect. And if we go into the file, save sheet format, and it picks up the name, save, yes, then the quick double check would be to add a sheet and make sure that all of that information came over with it. That is where I get probably the most frustrated with this process. All right, so the next item on our list would be to look at the custom properties, and actually we'll go ahead and do that as a separate.